Michigan Magazine is kept on the road by our many Michigan friends. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Clemix Sales and Service on Mapes Road, west of Mile, your complete recreational vehicle sales and service connection. Visit their beautiful showroom of new and pre-owned ATVs, lawnmowers, power equipment, snowmobiles, utility vehicles, and more. Clemix Sales and Service is also the home of the American-made Victory motorcycle line on display at Clemix on Mapes Road, Mile. Misty of Sweet Misty Sweets in Luzerne is waiting for you with delicious banana splits and other ice cream goodies and fresh coffee, donuts, pastries, humongous, and Dunkin' cookies. All sizes of cakes. Planning a wedding? Call Misty. Creating smiles daily and for a lifetime. Sweet Misty Sweets, north of the light in Luzerne. This week we have copper on the mine, or should we say copper in the mine. Michigan has an amazing history of copper mining, at one time just as sought after as gold. As a matter of fact, when Horace Greeley uttered that famous statement, "Go west, young man, go west," he reportedly was referring to Michigan's copper mines, not the California gold fields. Today we journey down into one of the more well-known mines, the Delaware Mine in Michigan's Upper Peninsula. Then we'll visit with a modern-day copper artist in mid-Michigan, Sue Smith. It's all coming up on Michigan Magazine. Something special's cooking, hot and delicious. Indulge yourself at Morning at Maggie's in Bay City. Omelets, frittatas, hotcakes, and more. Make every day special with a stop at Morning at Maggie's for breakfast or lunch on Saginaw in Bay City. Hale Hardware, your do-it center in Hale, Michigan. Much more than a regular hardware store, providing everything you need for whatever your project is, along with a knowledgeable sales staff to get her done. Serving Northern Michigan since 1946. Hale Hardware, south of M65 at Ainsley in Hale. The Michigan-made rebounding mailbox pole. Never again worry about the winter snowplow taking out your mailbox with this ingenious rebounding pole. Your mailbox takes a hit and keeps coming back year after year. Call now or visit their website, toughmailboxes.com. Nearly everyone has heard that saying, "Go west, young man, go west." But many will mistakenly think that when Horace Greeley coined that phrase, he was referring to the California gold rush. But according to UP historians, he was referring to the discovery of copper in the Upper Peninsula, which preceded the gold rush and produced much more monetarily than gold ever did. As a matter of fact, Greeley himself held interest in Upper Peninsula copper mining and was on the board of directors of the Delaware Copper Mine. Delaware, once a bustling community, is now a ghost town, situated near Copper Harbor on US 41, north of Calumet. This region of Michigan is the only region known that contains large quantities of copper in its pure form, known as mass or native copper. The copper mines in the UP have produced more copper than any other location in the world. Most of these mines remain idle because of low copper prices. One of the largest copper mines ever to open in the UP is still remembered by name, the Delaware Mine, last mined actively in 1887. That's our next stop on Michigan Magazine. To preserve the unique heritage of the copper industry, this mine was purchased by Keweenaw native Tom Pointer. Tom has reopened one of the mines to the public and has a staff on hand to actively give walkthrough interpretive tours of the mines and the impact this industry had on Michigan and the nation.
This mine is quite old. They started about 1847 mining right here, and they finally closed it in 1887. Now, back in about 1976, I was thinking about opening a mine for tourist attraction. So I started looking throughout this area around Copper Harbor and Keweenaw County. I looked at quite a few, and when I finally got a chance to look through this mine, we found this was the most interesting, fabulous mine you could get into. So I purchased it from Universal Oil Products, which is Lake Superior Land Company now. And over the years, we've developed it into a tourist attraction.
Now, how was copper discovered? I mean, was there actual holes, or did they happen to see it on the surface? How did they discover it?
They would find it on the surface. As they explored through this area, you could find veins outcropping right on the surface through the rock. So as the miners would find this, they'd drill and blast and put tunnels into the hills, hoping this vein would hold up for a long time. Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't. It varied from tiny little flakes of copper up to the largest piece weighing 500 tons. Commercially, like I say, they started explorations on this property in 1847. By the 1850s, they were running very heavy through the 1870s. And by 1887, this mine had pretty well played out. They'd been down 10 levels. almost 1,400 feet, and they just ran out of copper, so this mine closed. But throughout this area, there was still mining down toward Calumet. They actually operated copper mines up here until 1968. That's the last one in Calumet. Now, the only other copper mine still operating is at White Pine. That's near the Porcupine Mountain area, near Ontonagon. That started in 1958 and still operates today.
Mm-hmm. Now, you're saying that we're on the first level then. I mean, there's how many more levels do we've got to go?
That's right. We've got 9 more levels below this.
Oh,
this level goes across almost 2,000 feet.
My gosh. Now, how did they get the miners down into this level? Did they walk, climb, or?
Well, they would walk at first down through the first 4 or 5 levels. They could walk down the stairs, but they found as they got deeper than that, they'd get tired, especially if they had to go in a vertical shaft where they climbed ladders. Once they got deeper than about 4 or 5 levels, they had to have some means of getting the people in and out, such as a man car, which was just a car that rode on the rails, pulled up and down, or a thing called a man engine, which would lift them on platforms up and down like this.
Mm-hmm. That's how they did it. Now, observing the coal mines of perhaps West Virginia or Kentucky, and this mine, I see there's no bracing or anything. We're on a pretty solid structure as far as mines are concerned, aren't we?
Yes, we are. This whole region is known as hard rock mining because it's a very solid, safe rock.
Mm-hmm.
The rock we're in right here is kind of reddish in color. It's called conglomerate. It's a sedimentary rock, and at one time this was the bottom of a lake bed, just like Lake Superior out here. Mm-hmm. Sometimes if you look closely in certain areas of the mine, you can see the pebbles and rocks, but through millions and billions of years, pressure and heat compressed it into a solid mass of very strong rock.
Mm-hmm. Now, when someone comes to the Delaware mines, what can they expect to see on a tour?
Well, on our tours, we have several different ones. The main tour is our regular guided tour, where we take a group of people, anywhere from 2 to 20 people, walk them down the stairs to the first level, stopping along the way to explain things. Then once we're on the level, we show them different things such as a drill machine. Then we go along, throw them the large stope, which is the area where they actually took the copper out. And they walk approximately 900 feet across this level till they come to the end of the tour. Then the guide turns around, brings them back out to the surface. And at that time, they take them on a small tram ride, which takes 10 people at a time, around the trails to show them the rooms of the old buildings, the old pump house and hoist house, and the rock piles. We also have a petting zoo up there for the kids and various displays, something for everyone to see.
Mm-hmm.
The other tours we offer in the spring and the fall, we have a self-guided tour. This starts like in mid-May and goes till the middle of June when we get busy. At that time, we allow the people to walk down here themselves. Instead of guides, we have signs placed in various areas so they can read about it as they go and take their time. This, like I say, is springtime and from Labor Day till mid-October. The other tour we offer is a rustic lantern tour, where we take you on the normal guided tour, and we reach the end of that. We go around a corner and take you through the other section of the mine, which isn't as cleared or as neat as the section we're in here. We have it lit with old lanterns, and we take them about 900 more feet to the other end. Then you climb up the old shaft, and you actually have to get dirty. You have to get on your hands and knees and climb a little bit. And you come out into the forest, and we have a vehicle called a duck waiting for you there to give you a ride back. At that point, you've actually traversed almost 2,000 feet underground.
Tom and I continued our talk 100 feet below the surface, where the temperature remains a constant all year long. Thousands of people visit the Delaware mine each year, making their way into the past, where copper, not gold, was king. Tom went on to tell us that there was also a visitor to the mine that refuses to leave, the ghost of the Delaware mine. We talked with a few people who had witnessed this spectacle. Did you happen to see the ghost that was in here by any chance?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
They say it can't be filmed. Did anybody try to take a picture at all, or no?
No.
So there's actually a ghost here. Okay. Did you see the ghost?
I saw the ghost, yes.
Are you a believer?
I'm a believer now.
Okay. Now, what did you think of the mine tour in general?
Oh, this is excellent. Just very good, very informative, amazing.
We didn't see any spirits that day, not that we really cared to, being hundreds of feet below the surface with just a flashlight. But a person can feel a presence down here, that of the heart and soul of the early miners. Tom takes great care in perpetuating that feeling.
Someone really wanted to get the feel and eat a pasty down here in the mines. You've set up a situation where they could do that, didn't you?
Yeah, we took one section of a tunnel and we set some nice seating in here so people can come down. We've had a lot of groups request that they could come down and be like the miners, bring their pasty down here and sit down and do it. So we made it a little more comfortable, a little easier to set up.
Tom tells us that other projects are taking place topside at the Delaware Mine. His interest in maritime history is the seed of the creation of a shipwreck hands-on museum and displays. Copper and the shipping industry will go hand in hand. Tom Pointer, preserving Michigan's unique heritage at the Delaware Copper Mine near Copper Harbor in the Upper Peninsula. Michigan Magazine is being brought to you in part by your northern experience is never complete without a stop at the historic Ma Dieters of Luzerne. Enjoy the ambiance inside or outside on the huge patio area. Order from the complete menu with entrees served hot, fresh, and good. Come experience Ma Dieters in the heart of God's country, Luzerne, Michigan. Hingeman Acres Canoe Livery and Resort on M33 just north of Mayo, catering to the outdoor enthusiasts. Cabins, canoes, kayaks, rafts, and more. Daytime or overnight trips along the world-famous Asabo River. A family getaway for over 75 years. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, what began as a crazy idea among 9 police officers to purchase the historic Clare City Bakery quickly became an international phenomenon, carrying on a Michigan tradition with delicious donuts, pies, pastries, breads, original coffee, and more, plus a full menu at the new adjacent Traffic Stop Diner. Downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and donuts. Well, on this edition of Michigan Magazine, on the outskirts of Mount Pleasant, in the rural area, beautiful area. I bet you this place is nice in the fall time, isn't it, Sue?
It is. It's beautiful.
Inspiration from an artist here, Sue Smith. Sue, thank you very much for allowing us into your workshop and studio here.
Yep.
How in the world did you get into the world of copper, and what brought you to this point here?
Well, actually, I started out with stained glass.
Stained glass,
And
okay.
I had a friend that actually bought a small piece, and it was made just like with some little marbles, and I've kind of went off on the bigger hand-blown bulbs so people could see them better, and then I started incorporating some of my stained glass into it too. So.
And what you do is you incorporate copper and into the globes,
Right.
and provide some very decorative pieces. Now, how did you learn the world of art, or as far as copper art? How did
I
you get
just
into that?
started
You just
that.
liked it?
Yep.
Okay.
It was I had the soldering ability down already, and so I needed some way to hold the bulb into the piece of copper fitting and stuff. So that's how I got started with that.
Oh,
So-
okay.
and
All
I
right.
just kind of twist it any way I feel like, and whatever comes out, comes out.
How long have you been doing this?
About 3 years
About
now.
3 years, and you've been to our show pretty much ever since you've been into the world of your creations here.
Yeah.
And you've also got a new one, I think, I find fascinating. You call this the Bahama Mine?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us the inspiration behind this.
And actually, this is made out of stained glass.
Stained glass.
And
okay.
then I wrap the copper tubing, it's small tubing, around it, and then that way I can solder around the jewelry, and I put little stones down here just to weight it so that they're a little more stable. So-
And you can find these in the gardens. And where would you find something like this?
And actually, in the dining room table or in a
yes.
window, and just any place, for decoration.
Right,
So-
right. And you do everything from your home here.
Yes, I do.
In the outskirts.
Yep.
That's beautiful work
So
here.
this is my workshop. My husband finished it off for me. We had a room upstairs.
Oh, okay. You've been
and
expanding, have you, since you started?
I started in the utility room.
Oh, okay.
And so, I had to pick up every night and stuff. So we had this room up here with nothing going on.
So we've got plenty going on
Yep,
now.
yep.
You,
So
you
he
do
keeps-
shows throughout the year. I mean, you do ours,
Yes.
of course.
Yep.
But tell us a little bit about what we have over here. Stained glass pieces and also copper pieces.
Yes, these are I use all glass and copper, and whatever I can find a piece of glass, I'll try to wrap the copper or wire around them to create a window hanger or something for outside for the gazebo. And
Oh, yeah.
so these are little plant stakes. So if you don't want quite as big a scale, you can put them in a house plant.
Yeah,
So-
look at there. We have some hummingbird feeders.
hummingbird
Look at
feeder.
that.
Yep. So
That would attract any hummingbird. Yeah.
so.
Well, what got you into it in the first place? Was it just your love of copper, your love of
Stained glass.
stained glass?
Yes.
Did you?
And I always liked to putter. And so I needed some place, and once I started making stuff, my husband said, "What are you going to do with all this stuff?" And I said, I hadn't really thought about that, And so a friend of mine, we got into our first show. It was at a church bazaar. And we did pretty well, so we thought, well, we'll try some more. So we just kind of went from there. And
Yeah.
these are...
Are they finished?
Nope, these are not finished.
Okay.
What I do is, I don't have it soldered yet,
Okay.
but what I'll do is I'll spread these out and I solder them, and then this piece goes in the center to create the moon and the stars. And then I put little copper stars here, and it's nice to hang on a fence or,
Yes, it
or
is.
from a gazebo and or deck if you have the taller posts and
Those would
stuff.
look beautiful when the light
Yeah.
hits it in a certain
Yes.
way. They would. Where do you get your inspiration? In the middle of the night, or do you just see something that has to be...
Well, I know people were into stars and moons.
Right. Uh-huh.
And so that's how I come up with this idea. And a lot of times I'll be sitting downstairs and just puttering or doodling, and that's where I come up with the designs. What I have going on here is
my.
I use insulators.
Oh, well, there you go.
And then I wrap copper around them. And then, of course, I like the hook to hang them. And then I create the butter, or this one happens to be a bumblebee. And then I solder it on. And then we've got just a cute little bumblebee.
Oh, that's clever.
And then I make them into butterflies also.
Oh,
So,
my.
yeah.
Yeah. Any new projects besides the bumblebees
Actually,
that you got thinking
this,
about? Or is...
you know, sometimes I do better when I'm not trying to think of an
something, yeah.
idea.
Yeah,
Things
it comes
come
to you.
easier. And actually, the Bahama Mamas were kind of it for right now, but you know, I might go someplace and see something, and I
Right.
could go off from that.
Right, right. You getting good reaction from the public out there at the shows?
Yes, they seem to like it real
Yes.
well, and they like because it's different.
And they're, of course, weatherproof. The garden stakes
Right?
can be out there.
Yep, put them outside and let
Last
them
for a
go.
lifetime. Thank you very much, Sue. And
You're
wish you the best
welcome.
of luck.
Thank
we'll
you
see
very
you on the
much.
highways and byways at all these art shows.
All right.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Introducing the Weed Gator. For safe and easy aquatic weed removal, the Weed Gator is the #1 alternative to harsh chemicals for getting rid of pond and lake weeds. Safe and effective. See it in action now at weedgator.net. Made in the USA.
Vacation. Don't make the planning of it more than what you're trying to get away from. At northernmichigancabinrentals.com, you can choose from over 2,500 cabins, cottages, lodges, resorts, lakefront vacation home rentals, and more. Whatever experience you're looking for, from rustic to luxury and everything in between. No more rustling with telephone books. No more endless internet searches. Just one site with over 2,500 Northern Michigan destinations. northernmichigancabinrentals.com.
Thanks again for joining us on another edition of Michigan Magazine as we explore Michigan's back roads. Speaking of exploration, we're inviting you to come along and explore with us in an evening at the historic Ma Dieter's Hotel and Tavern. Michigan Magazine, Coopersville Old West Town, and Ma Dieter's will be presenting a gourmet dinner and a tour of the forbidden upstairs. That includes Ma's living quarters and hotel rooms no longer available to the public. We'll explore and follow the footsteps of Ma herself down the darkened hallway, while current owner Brian fills us in on the history of the hotel and character of Ma, who some say still walks the hall of this quaint getaway. For more information on the tour and a look at the menu of the pre-tour gourmet meal, go to thespiritofmichigan.com. That's thespiritofmichigan.com. Here you can purchase your tickets and reserve your spot today. Prior to the dinner, tour guests will get the chance to visit Coopersville Old West Town up the road a piece. Then head back to Luzerne and the cemetery to visit where Ma's final resting place is, beneath the largest tombstone in the cemetery. While on the tour, we urge everyone to stay close. We wouldn't want to upset Ma, who some say will be keeping a close watch on everything we do. Also this week, we're giving you a chance now to win tickets to the 2015 Michigan Renaissance Festival to be held August 22nd through October 2nd in Holly, Michigan. All you need to do to be entered in the drawing is email us at iwatchmichiganmagazine@gmail.com and in the subject line write, "I want those tickets." In the email, be sure and leave your name, mailing address, and phone number. You can also snail mail the entire information to us at Michigan Magazine, P.O. Box 424, West Branch, Michigan 48661. There's no phrase of the week this week, so tune in next week for another chance to win. Have a great week, and we'll see you on the next edition of Michigan Magazine. We'd like to thank all those that help keep Michigan Magazine on the road. Cops and Donuts Bakery, downtown Clare, a winning combination. Cops and Donuts. Rose City Drug, just south of the Rose City city limits at 2640 North M33, featuring a state-of-the-art, completely automated and extremely accurate computer-filled prescription process.
Here at Rose City Drug, we're a family-owned and operated for over 20 years. We offer fast and friendly service, and we always take the extra step to make sure your needs are fulfilled.
Experience the beauty, artistry, and taste of northern Michigan. Come to Amish Country Natural Products on Mount Tom Road, north of Mile, just off M33. From arts and crafts to fresh foods and vegetables, all natural, all local, all good. Stop by and get acquainted with Amish Country Natural Products, 1454 North Mount Tom Road, Mile. Rose Valley Winery on Beechwood Road in Rose City. See what thousands are raving about, creating a delicious variety of award-winning Michigan wines. Stop by and taste for yourself. The taste of Michigan is yours at Rose Valley Winery.